Hey guys, welcome to the Near Alpha Show. Great to have everyone in here on this lovely Wednesday morning for me. I know it's afternoon for a lot of folks on the East Coast, but it's great to have everyone in here. See Monza in the house, see Kurt, see Franco. Great to have everyone. Guys, by the way, if you guys want to bring the company accounts, highly recommend so that people can find your account as easily as possible when we're talking about it. We got Atlas Protocol and we've got Omni Lane Labs as well on stage chatting with us, talking about chain signatures as well as all the alpha that's going on around your protocol. So I can't wait to get into it. I know there's a bunch of stories that we're excited to break. You know, Monza's excited about a couple of these. Man, it's great to have everyone in here. Let me ping Luana and see if she can make it. I know she's pretty busy with things that are going on with Cody Games, but let's see if she maybe Frederick already DM'd her. But anyways, great to have everyone in here. Monza, how are you doing, bro?
Yo, doing good. Just ate breakfast sandwich that it hit the fucking spot, man. It was called Farmhouse, had bacon, ham, bunch of other shit. Hit the spot. It's right by the new house, so pretty excited to go spam those every single morning.
Let's go, dude. Let's go. That's awesome to hear, brother. By the way, guys, if you haven't already, hit the retweet button for me. If you don't hit the retweet button, you're a Solana maxi. It's what I've heard. You know, it's not something I know. I don't make the rules. I'm just the enforcer. But if you don't retweet the space, I pinned it up at the top. Also, bottom right corner, you can go ahead and ping that bottom right little message icon and come to the retweet option on the space. Retweet the space, guys. Otherwise, you're a Solana maxi. And here's the thing, guys. Here's what I do know, and this is a fact. You can't see who likes stuff anymore, but you can see who retweets. And I'm watching, bro. I'm watching to see who doesn't retweet. I'm scrolling through the people in the audience. I know who doesn't retweet, bro. I'm gonna hold you accountable. I'm gonna blast you publicly for it. Hit the retweet button.
Cade's got a list.
Dude,
And
I've got a
just
list and
know
it's growing.
there's some cool stuff coming if you're not on the list. So don't be on the list. He's got something coming.
Dude, I'm telling you, bro. And I see we got Luana in the house. Just shot you a speaker invite. Dude, the Joyage intern, the Joyage Kingdom intern account is going crazy out here, tweeting stuff about Luana right now. I just saw it in the timeline. It's unbelievable. I'm gonna have to fire that intern for sure. Let me throw it over to Kurt and Franco. It's great to have you guys in here. Kurt, how are you doing, man?
Doing well. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. And I'll throw it over to Franco as well. Do a quick little mic check. Franco, how are you doing?
Hey,
guys, thanks for coming. I'm doing great. Definitely not on the list myself. And today is fasting Wednesday for me, so didn't have lunch. So
Let's get it. Let's get it. We got Luana up on stage here. Luana, it's great to have you in the show.
Thank you, everybody, for having me here today. Super excited about seeing what's going on in Near and talk about the chain signatures. Thank you.
Absolutely, yeah, yeah. Tons of news coming out, and by the way, guys, the change. I don't know if everyone in here is. I don't know if everyone in here is near native kind of thing, but the chain signatures announcement is pretty big announcement across all of crypto. It affects just about every chain. And I was gonna say I was gonna leave out Bitcoin, but potentially not. We've got a couple. We've got Atlas who's doing native liquid staking on Bitcoin, and so there's a bunch of stuff cooking here. I think there's every chain can kind of benefit from this. Basically, the idea, and I'll let Franco and Kurt kind of explain a bit more, maybe Luana, because they're probably a little bit more in the world than I am. But the basic idea is you can use the Near account to sign transaction across the board, kind of contributing to that chain abstraction vision that Near Protocol has been trying to push, which is huge because Near AI is in full effect. AI companies are out here. Ilya and Alex are both, on streams every single week talking about AI, building up that brand a little bit, getting people aware of it, going on interviews. They're not holding back. Grayscale, one of the bigger investing partners. They're out here making new funds every time Near Protocol breathes in a direction. They go and make a new trust, and so it's pretty cool to see the support across the board. So the chain signatures world is very interesting to me. I know a few months ago I was seeing various initiatives and funds and rewards and stuff for people who would work on the chain signatures, and it looks like Near Foundation or whoever is helping out with these things, maybe it's Proximity, came to bat, and some things are coming out now. We got chain signatures going mainnet, baby. If that's not worth a retweet of the Near Alpha Show, I've given up, bro. I've got a hit list and Chase Insurers are on mainnet. Like what else? What else could I possibly ask for to get these to lock in these retweets? But yeah, man. Let's. I'll throw it over to Monza here. I want to run through some of the top news and just hear about various things going on in the ecosystem. We'll kind of sprinkle them out. We'll also talk about chain signatures and we'll get everyone's thoughts on and what they're building. Right before so we got Kendall over here from Proximity. Kendall, it's great to have you in the show, brother. How are you doing?
Yeah, excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Great to have you, man. I'll throw it over to Monza though. Monza, any stories you wanted to break? Luana, I'll go to you next if you have any as well. I know you're super busy with Cody Games, but if there's anything you wanted to jump up here before I jump into it, please do. But Monza, over to you.
Yeah, I mean, nothing crazy, and I'll keep it quick so we can get to everyone. But Nico plushies, everyone's been waiting for those for it seems like forever. They finally announced that, they're on the horizon. They just took the snapshot. So if you had, the NFT still in your wallet, you'll be getting your plushie. They said that they'll be having the shipping forms out soon. And it's not just going to be the plushie. It looks like there's going to be some other things associated with it. So if you've got the NFT, they're teasing stuff with the Minecraft server right now. It looks like so maybe something cool there. No idea what it would be though. They're just starting to share a little bit about that. And then on the OFP Open Forest Protocol side of things, they just launched another Zealy campaign with Kyoto. So just another refi project. So hop into Zealy if you haven't. You can learn about OFP, learn about Kyoto, earn some XP, earn some near rewards, and then get a chance to move up in the community. We got a new community structure dropping pretty soon, and you'll have a chance to get really involved with OFP at a much deeper level. So pretty excited about that. And then just one more thing on OFP. They hit 150 projects on the OFP Atlas, which means there are over 150 forest projects all over the world right now using OFP. So I'm going to drop the map below and then I'll pin it up top so you can see just where all those projects are. And then I'll also pin the Atlas so you can see all the information. You can see how big they are and how much CO2 they're supposed to absorb and all these other things. So pretty sweet, and I'll pin that below.
Awesome stuff, bro. Yeah, tons of news there. I'm really excited for the Nico plushies. I'm hoping they get here before I move, and I don't have to have my expert mates here have to ship that over to me. But yeah, I'm very much looking forward to that. The Minecraft one is pretty interesting too. I feel like that might be being slept on. I'm not a big Minecraft guy, but I do know that Minecraft is top three type of game. Like it's that level. People compare it to like World of Warcraft level of just absolute just loyalty and obsession with the game. Like I feel like we actually talked about it, Luana. Were you a Minecraft player?
Yes, actually.
Love it, love it. What are
I
your
have
thoughts on the
tried them all.
Nicotopia?
I have tried. I mean, I have not tried it to be honest yet. So I don't know. But if you're talking about Minecraft, that's
I
different.
know the main thing they're talking about right now is you hop in there, you mine some diamonds, and then you can trade them in for some Nico. So I think that alone is just pretty sweet. You know, if you're playing Minecraft anyway, you might as well just hop in their server and do that, make a little Nico.
True.
I mean, anything that comes with the play to earn type of option right now in Web3 gaming, it's really like something that is booming. So if this is something that is like getting integrated in the chain, I mean, I can't wait to see more projects kind of like pop up and showcase different other methods or like, type of like mechanisms that will like give other creators or any other participants to earn while they play a game.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And let me throw it over to you, Luana. Didn't know if there's any stories you wanted to break or anything you're working on that you're excited for that you wanted people to be aware of.
Yes, I mean, I saw, I don't know, is anybody here going to the Korea blockchain week? But if you are, actually, Near AI is going to be there with an alpha hackathon. Be Water has partnered with New Horizon. So if you are there, I'm gonna pin up the Luma event. So if you're going to be there, you can go and check it out. And then the other thing that I also saw, it's like Near Protocol had already like this Satoshi bridge, and they pop up this video on how to do the bridge. So if you want to do that, and because I had a lot of people asking me like how to do it and if I can do this, da da da, I'm gonna pin it also here so everyone can be on the same map.
Awesome, awesome. I will not be able to make it out there, but that's very curious. I'm interested to see what happens from there. So appreciate that, Luana. If there's didn't know if there's anything else. I know there's a couple stories I had seen. Like I saw DeFi Shards had just posted their official white paper, the latest version of their white paper. So I saw they just tweeted. That's just awesome to hear from DeFi Shards. It's been a while since I heard a full update from them. They're the NFT and liquidity company, I guess, if you will, like basically baking in liquidity into these NFTs that are typically illiquid and trying to bring some liquidity into these pictures. So that was interesting. I know that Meme.Cooking just announced their testnet is live. I know Thunderhood also just rolled out some updates. They're also on testnet. Mite is out there mainnet. So all three of those companies are meme coin launch pads. Just had a conversation this morning with one of the teams. Interesting stuff that everyone's building out over there on the DGen side of things. But I'm down to sort of change course a little bit and chat about these chase signatures. We've got some awesome people up on stage with us. Obviously, we have Atlas Protocol represented by Kurt, and they're the first native Bitcoin liquid staking protocol just to help unlock Bitcoin across all chains and to tap into that. I don't know how much money's on there, like it feels like $1 trillion or something of Bitcoin liquidity on there for just ridiculous yield opportunities. I assume. I am kind of curious, Kurt. I'll throw it over to you. Just your thoughts on I had just been to the Bitcoin conference in Nashville, and I was very curious to hear about people's response to building on Bitcoin and sort of maybe just sort of your thoughts on it, if you've had conversations, if the general sentiment has been positive towards you guys, or if you've been met with some big roadblocks. Just want to throw it over to you and get some color on that.
Yeah, I think there's some differing viewpoints, as there should be, right? Part of the challenge I think we're going to have is convincing, those true Bitcoiners, right, that it's safe and secure and useful to do something with their Bitcoin. I think there's a lot of folks that just look at Bitcoin as a store of value and not necessarily something that they can use or want to use. But I think a lot of that is rooted in the fact that there just hasn't really been anything built historically to do that. And so, what we're hoping to do is build something that is easy to use, easy to understand, and provides a valuable product to people to be able to stake their Bitcoin and earn some yield. if you look at, what institutions are going to ultimately demand from their Bitcoin, it's going to be interesting to see how that evolves. Institutions aren't used to just crossing their fingers and hoping that an asset they own goes up in value. They're used to generating cash flow over, the period that they're holding their assets, and then ultimately, realizing gains from appreciation. So they approach it from sort of a different lens than maybe a traditional, OG Bitcoiner, but we're hoping to appeal to both of those crowds and build something that everybody can enjoy using.
Awesome. Yeah, I appreciate that. I was just kind of curious, just from my personal side of things, just because I was just fresh in my mind from that conference. But maybe I'll throw it over to Kendall actually first before jumping over to Franco and just get Kendall, maybe just a quick general breakdown of chain signatures. I had opened up the conversation with a small little piece about chain signatures, but I'm kind of curious from your work over at Proximity. I know you've been on a few different podcasts and shows as well, maybe talking about it, but kind of curious if you could give us a little bit of a breakdown, high level, and just to give some more context into the conversation as we dive more into the chain signatures world.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think the most important thing to understand about chain signatures is that they enable smart contracts to sign transactions. Basically, smart contracts are given a unique public key that only they can sign with. Now, on Near, accounts and smart contracts can be more or less the same thing. Like, it really does just look like a Near account requesting like some type of transaction to be signed by this kind of chain signatures network, which is powered by a technology called multi-party computation, or a specific subset of that called threshold signing. So basically, the idea is that these signers in this network each have a share of a key that together, if a certain threshold, let's say like 5 of 8 of them agree to sign something, they can create kind of like a valid signature of that payload. And in the case of chain signatures, they do this very specifically. They listen to smart contracts or accounts on Near. Those accounts or smart contracts makes requests to sign transactions, and then these threshold signers sign on behalf of them. And they will only sign using a unique key per Near account. So the application of this is, well, basically what a lot of these great teams on stage are building. That's everything from building applications on top of Bitcoin, like tokenized versions of Babylon receipts, basically, which it turns out to be a quite useful product that actually is uniquely enabled by chain signatures, and the Alice team is doing some great work there. And then we also have, I believe, OmniLane represented as well, which is building a multi-chain decentralized exchange, which will be incredibly flexible and let users trade really any asset on any chain. And maybe even in the future, you can actually trade effectively public keys because of the architecture of chain signatures. And that's really just scratching the surface. I think that the most important takeaway, though, is imagine what you could do if you are a smart contract developer and all of a sudden you're able to like actually sign messages or transactions or just use public cryptography directly, which is something that wasn't really possible before this tech.
Awesome, man. Yeah, absolutely. And there's been a lot more talk and rhetoric around the bridges and the various swaps and stuff that go around. So the chain signatures is going to be. I'm very curious to see what the next iterations of that are going to be, and how they, and as blockchain sort of begins to change over the next 10 years or so, what the main use case ends up becoming when you're able to sort of implement this. And I'm also very curious to see where Near Protocol fits in there, if it becomes hoisted up as this big chain that sort of stuck to the narrative and continue to build and focus on some of these things that contribute to the chain and make life a little bit easier for everybody. That's definitely something that I found really attractive about Near Protocols. It makes life a little bit easier, even if it takes a little bit longer to do it right. So yeah, Kendall, really appreciate that breakdown. That was very visually helpful for me too, to sort of see what exactly is going on over there, why it matters too, not just a textbook definition, but an actual visual representation of why it's important. So I really appreciate that. I'll throw it over to Franco though, just to get his thoughts. He's over there representing OmniLane protocol, cross chain swap protocol, using chain signatures, and basically swapping native assets without the use of these bridges. And I'm just kind of curious, Franco, if you could give us a little bit of color, high level breakdown of your company and the things you guys are building over there, and any challenges you've had. I'd just love for you to sort of just open the conversation on the company.
Excellent. Yeah, thank you, Kate. So we started OmniLane a couple months ago. So pretty new to the Near ecosystem. But essentially, we're building an algorithm around chain signatures called ISC, which we call inline state consensus. So this algorithm essentially will allow users to swap tokens across chains. And the key thing about this is that we mimic exactly the current user experience that a user will have, let's say on Uniswap, for example, where they simply need to approve their tokens and swap. And this algorithm doesn't really need any type of oracle or bridge or whatsoever. It really depends on the two parties consenting on a blockchain state, and then we sort of prove that state on the Near blockchain. So if any of the parties lie, the trade simply doesn't settle. So it's I think it's quite an improvement over current, let's say, industry standard cross-chain applications, where they will rely on oracles or other mechanisms, or where let's say for example Chainflip, for example, they really deploy their own kind of setup or sidechain of oracles. And those are all third parties that they need to incentivize and bribe, which is something that actually makes the trade for the users way more expensive and slow. So we're reducing a lot of that overhead where two parties need to settle on a trade, and we're keeping the UX as simple as possible. So yeah, in essence, we're achieving sort of this cross-chain swap while reducing significantly the fees and the time to swap.
Got it. Got it. Awesome breakdown there. And by the way, anybody on the panel, feel free to throw up a hand at any point and jump into the conversation. Doesn't just have to be me talking. I know my voice is pretty awesome, but it doesn't have to be just me. Monster's beautiful voice can hop in. Luana's amazing voice can hop in, and anybody else on the panel. So, yeah, man, I'm really curious. Maybe I'll throw this question over to Kurt and get sort of the inception of the company. Like, what was the initial thing that inspired you to start the company and go this direction? And also kind of jump into the Near protocol ecosystem.
Yeah, I think it goes back to something that you said when you asked your initial question, which is that the current landscape in Bitcoin is $1.2 trillion worth of market cap that is an idle asset, right? This is sort of what birthed Babylon and other Bitcoin staking protocols, and it's the same thing for why we're getting a lot of talk right now around wrapped Bitcoin versus other versions of synthetic Bitcoin and different versions of liquid staked Bitcoin. There's a lot of capital there, and it's a lot of capital that can be put to use. And so we had this idea as a group, just how can we build something that's useful in that ecosystem? And our idea, right, is a liquid staking protocol for Bitcoin that leverages the chain signatures that have been talked about, which allows us to accept native Bitcoin deposits. So that's super important, right? Because there's a lot of ways to build this where you accept wrapped Bitcoin deposits or some other type of synthetic Bitcoin deposits, but we thought it was very important to accept native Bitcoin deposits. And chain signatures allows us to do that by allowing us to sign transactions on the Bitcoin blockchain. So when a user does that and decides they want to deposit their native Bitcoin, we essentially mint our liquid staking token, which is Atlas BTC, and the user can receive it on any chain. So they can receive it on any EVM chain or on Near at this point, or any chain where chain signatures are active. And then when they want to redeem that Bitcoin back for native Bitcoin, they just simply burn the ABTC and it unlocks the native Bitcoin back into their Bitcoin wallet on the Bitcoin blockchain. So it's a very simple conceptually to explain it and to understand what's going on. And that's part of what we think is important, is to make this a simple process for the end Bitcoin users, since they may or may not be familiar with interacting with smart contracts or anything like that. So that was really our idea, was how can we build something simple, easy to use, sufficiently secure, sufficiently decentralized, and have it appeal to sort of the broader Bitcoin holder population. And this was essentially our idea. And what comes with this is an interesting use case where our liquid staking token is immediately available on any chain, right? So you can choose which chain to receive it on, or you can bridge it between the various chains, essentially immediately. Some of the other solutions that are out there require a custody period or some sort of period for receiving the deposits, whereas our deposits are instant. So you deposit your Bitcoin, that's confirmed on the Bitcoin blockchain, and then your liquid staking token is immediately unlocked. So we think those are sort of the innovations that we're bringing to the space, and happy to talk a little more about that, but don't want to monopolize the time here, so I'll end there.
Perfect. Yeah, that was awesome stuff. Really excited to hear about that. And I have a couple follow-ups, but I'll throw the same question over to Franco, just get his thoughts on the overall inception of the company, and then why they ended up rolling with Near Protocol, why they're on this near alpha space. Why not another space? So I'll throw the same question over to you, Franco.
Cool. Yeah, so just this relates a bit to my background. I founded several companies, and kind of the main kind of company right now is RAW Labs, which is a blockchain development lab of about 120 people. And on that blockchain lab, we do have a R&D space, which actually kind of makes small projects with new technology. And that's where kind of we landed on the Near ecosystem. Excited about the chain signatures launch, and because of our kind of background on kind of B2B, we found an opportunity to build technology for other, let's say, existing swaps or wallets or DEXs to integrate OmniLane within their current platform. That's why for us it's key to match the exact current experience that they have, so that they don't see that as some friction. And we saw that opportunity that some wallets or DEXs, maybe they do have integrations, let's say with Stargate, but they have a quite limited, let's say, amount of blockchains, and all of them are pretty much clustered on the EVM space. So with chain signatures, what we're allowing them is to go a step further and to integrate blockchains like Bitcoin, like Solana, and Ton, for example. So we saw that as a big opportunity that we really wanted to take and to kind of dive into the with the chain signatures technology. And we really think that it makes completely sense to launch chain signatures on Near. I think that if chain signatures, for example, would have been deployed on Ethereum, for example, there are a lot of things that we wouldn't be able to achieve. Let's say validating a signature from any chain. So on Near, we're able to let's say code a library to validate transactions from different blockchains, or to serialize the hashing algorithm for foreign blockchains. And this is really what allows us to match the user experience that we're trying to do. If chain signatures would have been launched on Ethereum, we will be very restricted by the overall platform and the primitives that the Solidity language provides to developers, and also the very limited, let's say, gas factors and so on. So, so for us, kind of the thriving ecosystem of Near and the kind of capabilities of Near and chain signatures, we saw that there was a kind of a unique opportunity, and that's why we wanted to take it.
Perfect. Appreciate the breakdown there, Franco. It's awesome to hear a little bit about the inception. Also, as get bit of insight into your background as well. I'll throw it to Kendall. Luana, Monza, if you guys have any thoughts, definitely throw up a hand. I don't want to skip over you, but would love to get you guys into the conversation. If you have any questions even, or rebuttals or something like that, definitely jump in. But I can throw it over to Kendall here and just get your general thoughts. Like, this whole world is super exciting for me. It's cool to see companies building out here and get them on spaces and talk about the chain signatures world. Kendall, I'm curious on your thoughts for the next iteration of chain signatures. Like, where does this lead to? What are the use cases that begin to pop up that become available now that this is here? Do other chains copy this? Is there a need to copy it? Like, I don't even know the right questions yet, I feel like, to ask. So I'm very interested to see where this world ends up going into. But I'll throw the mic over to you.
Yeah, I mean, I think what's really exciting about it, but also is, we have our work cut out for us. Is it is a new design space, right? I think which it's really great is what both like Kurt and Franco are separately building here. Like these are use cases that we're not strictly really that possible or especially practical, without something like chain signatures. And I think that's really only just beginning to kind of explore that design space. And so at least like for the Pagoda teams working this and like Proximity as well, I think it's like, the plan is very much to listen to the builders and figure out where, like what do we need to simplify? What do we need to improve? What do we need to change in order to unlock new use cases? I know the team has a couple of things on the roadmap already, like right now the signature scheme supported is called ECDSA, and that covers a good number of chains, like all of the EVM chains, Bitcoin, for most of the functionality there, at least, Cosmos chains and more. But it does leave out certain chains like Solana and Ton that are obviously very popular and that absolutely should be supported as well. And so one of the next core features to release will be support for those chains coming up over the next few months, and then really just kind of unlocking these use cases and also doing a lot of work to kind of show what is possible, right? Fortunately, we have so many great teams here who are like really exploring what can be built in the Bitcoin ecosystem. I think like that is an insanely interesting opportunity. Like there's a lot of excitement from that community again, and also I think a lot of the existing solutions fall short, and so there's real opportunity there. And I think from being able to build this idea of like truly chain agnostic applications, like what Franco and his team are exploring, I think those are just really really exciting. And it's going to be interesting. Like you said it, you framed it very well, Kate. It's like it can be a little bit difficult to ask the right questions. I think that's really what we see our role as, is like do our best to just kind of inspire builders as they start looking at this design space. But ultimately, it's going to be the builders who are going to drive this thing forward and turn us really into a supporting role, which is exactly where we want to be. So yeah, couldn't be more excited, and I'll definitely turn it back over to Kurt and Franco here, who are the people, and everyone else on the call who's building right now.
Yeah, 100%, man. That was awesome. I really appreciate that. Yeah, Kurt, Franco, I didn't know if you guys had any thoughts on things you're looking forward to in the Chase Signatures world. You spend a lot of time talking about these things and iterating on them with your products. But are there any other things you're looking forward to in the future for this? And just kind of love to nerd out about this for a second here and talk about a little bit of casting vision, I guess, for people who are like, okay, cool, Chase Signatures here. We got it. Kendall did a good job explaining it. We got a couple companies up here using it every single day within their product, and now their company is able to reach greater and greater heights with it. Kind of curious if you guys have any intel, any thoughts on where the world Chain Signatures takes us and things you're looking forward to in the future. I can go to either one of you. Maybe I'll start with Franco on this one, but
Alrighty. So first thing, just reiterating on what I mentioned earlier, I think Near is a great choice for chain signatures, just because of the flexibility that working on Rust and the kind of the VM provides. Really and maybe if you're not a developer, you may not be able to kind of get a grasp on what it really means, but really the platform allows for a lot of flexibility to build on top. So that's a very crucial point. Also, I think that this technology will allow us, on Near, for kind of benefit from foreign growth. So, for example, OmniLane is not necessarily something that will leave and only work on Near. Our application is kind of natively cross-chain. So, on this case, the Near ecosystem will be benefiting from us operating on foreign markets, let's say on Bitcoin and Ethereum and all the chains. And I think that's, this is because this is kind of the first blockchain to integrate such a technology, kind of really puts Near on the driver's seat for this kind of cross-chain movement. Also, we've seen other, let's say, MPC or code NPC controlled networks but they're not really tapped into an existing ecosystem. So controlled NPC, such as chain signatures on a blockchain, makes a lot of sense because it allows applications that are building on chain signatures to tap into the existing Near ecosystem, which is really big. So, for example, and I'll just throw an example and then pass it on to Kurt. But us on Opnilane, we're trying to incentivize the trades to settle as close as the index price as possible, because we want our users to get the best quotes, get the best the prices for their swaps. So because we're building on chain signatures and on Near, for example, every time that a swap settles, we're able to tap into the existing Near volume, into the existing Near ecosystem, for example, to fetch on what's the current index price on the blockchain. And this allows us to compare with the price in which the swap is being settled, and therefore kind of either punish or incentivize can the parties involved to settle on a more close to index price price. So we think that kind of chain signatures on Near makes a lot of sense. Chain signatures controlling NPC on a blockchain makes also a ton of sense. And we're also kind of very excited because we think that this will create a new needs really on Near, kind of a new class of applications that will need to serve applications using chain signatures. So yeah, overall pretty excited, and happy to share this. Pass it over to Kurt.
Sure, thanks. I think, from my perspective, what this does is it really creates seamless cross. Excuse me, need a sip of water here. Seamless cross-chain DeFi, and I think that's really important because blockchains sort of operate in isolation in a lot of instances, but with chain signatures, you can sort of unify them with a single purpose, right? So like within our application, right, we can unify a lot of Bitcoin liquidity into a single token, which is then projected onto all these different blockchains and has broader use across different blockchains. So we can integrate, let's say, with a cross-chain DeFi protocol that's already in existence and immediately offer a Bitcoin solution that's native to all these different chains. That would not be possible without chain signatures, and I think that that's a really interesting concept that really underscores the value of having chain signatures on Near, and really enables our platform to have this unique value proposition, right? I mean, if we were just deploying a native a Bitcoin liquid staking solution on Near and it was only for Near, that has a lot less broader impact on the cross-chain DeFi sector than it does if we can deploy it essentially on every chain that routes back through Near. So that's sort of how I see it. I think we're still learning a lot about what actually can be built with chain signatures. So we have to essentially wait and see what all the GigaBrains come up with, and hopefully we can partner with a lot of them and integrate. And it'll be really exciting to see where this all goes.
Perfect. Oh, I see Luana's hand. Let's go. Luana, over to you.
I mean, I really love what you guys are building. Actually, I participated before in some stuff with Hatum Protocol, so I kind of know. I have seen Franco with Raider Labs, but in the other thing, I want to ask, how does Atlas Protocol really is going to ensure the scalability, I will say, and efficiency in transactions processing, like especially during like high market, because this is going to be definitely something that is going to be very new for the community, in terms of like what you guys are building. So I can imagine a lot of people really going into the platform, and I can see like high traffic on those. So what you guys are planning when it comes to like high market, volatility or any type of congestion. Like, what you guys have you ever do any stress tests? Like, because I know you're launching this, so have you thought about that?
Yeah, we've definitely thought about it. Now, in terms of testing, so we've successfully deployed all this stuff on various test nets, right? So, and we've recorded a demo of that. But we have recorded the native Bitcoin deposit on a Signet BTC testnet, with successful minting on several EVM testnets of the Atlas BTC liquid staking token. So we know that technically everything works, right? In terms of stress testing, I think we're still a little bit early. We haven't deployed this on any mainnet yet and stress tested anything, or on any testnet to stress test anything. But I think it's one of those things where we're going to have to iterate on that until we go to mainnet. And one of our plans with that is to have an incentivized public testnet where we really go through that process of stress testing everything. But we're not quite there yet. In the meantime, one of the things that we're trying to ensure that we tackle and address sufficiently is the security issue. And that relates to a lot of different things, but specifically to private key storage and things like that. Because security is really the main driver here of everything. If the Bitcoin is not secure, nobody's going to use it. So we're really focused on ensuring that we have the security aspect locked down, and then of course we will move on to some stress testing and other sort of more day-to-day type testing. But yeah, that's where we're at. I think it's a little early to give you a really great answer to that question, but that's where we're at now.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. I mean, I love that you guys are already like looking into that vision, because that is going to really be detrimental for the transcendency of the platform and how that is going to really work with, different type of markets. The idea, like for me as a user investor, like for Near for like several years so far, it's really to see the chain really going in that fact and being able to connect in the multi-chain factor. So when chain signatures arrived and everything happens with chain signatures, it really brought up that in me, and I was like, oh, finally we're going to have like this type of connections that will open opportunities to all types of different markets that we need to embrace in our chain so much. And I really love to see this. I'm that's why I was talking, because I know that if we have this type of protocols participating in our chain, it will definitely bring a very high market to participate in Near. So I'm really excited to see what you guys are going to pull for the community.
Yeah, same. Yeah, I appreciate the insights there, Luana, and breakdown there. I was also going to say, just changing course slightly here, I want to make sure, because this is the Near Alpha show, so not only are we going to hit chain signatures, we're also going to make sure everyone's aware of everything that else that's also going on in Near ecosystem. Luana, Mazu, if there's any other stories, definitely jump in. And by the way, Franco, Kurt, feel free to raise up a hand if you have any thoughts or opinions on any of the other stories that I bring up here as well. But I see we've got some awesome people here from the Near ecosystem, so I want to make sure they're aware of other things that are happening. Two things. One, I know that Near Week has their newsletter 173, I think, coming out very soon, probably the next day or two. So definitely be looking forward to that in your email. And they'll be filling you in with all the things business and development side of Near Protocol. But just on a more degen matter, I know that Burrow Finance just opened an ambassador program. So if you want to get signed up and get involved in the ecosystem in that way, Burrow Finance has that right now. And so that's a pretty cool way to get involved in the ecosystem. A lot of people DM me every single week and they're trying to get involved, or they're trying to get a paid gig or even an unpaid gig just for some experience, just to get something going. Ambassador program is the easy way to get that happening. Metapool, also I see down there in the audience, through the liquid staking platform. You can stake just about anything under the sun and get their token over there. They also have an ambassador program that they just opened up, so definitely check into that. if that's of interest to you. Sweat Economy, Sweat Token, we work with them on a pretty regular basis. Really love those guys over there. They were actually on the show, I think, last week. They had their Sweat Token get listed on Kraken Pro. So not only are they the fastest growing financial app in the entire country, but now they're listed on a major exchange here for their Sweat Token. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens if the movement economy ends up taking heat in the next few years here. I also know that a couple other things have passed. I know the Sender Labs DAO point phases just concluded with some insane stats. I believe that's their second big run, sort of like a SocialFi. I think it's SocialFi. I didn't really hear too much about this when it was happening, but they had almost 700,000 wallet signups and like 3 million points claimed. So I think those are successful numbers. I have nothing to compare it to, but I assume that's pretty successful. So I'm curious to see the conclusion that Center Labs had reached with that. I'll have to probably reach out to them and figure out what's going on over there. But I do know that Ref Finance also had their meme season 4 that just kicked off, and so stake farmers, it's time to get going on that. I also know that they clarified that after this season, they'll never be the same. Things are going to be different, bro. That's exactly what Monza said when the last time I talked to him. He's like, bro, I'm gonna be different. It's what he says when he breaks up with women. All the different wives that he has, he says, look, I'm gonna be different this time, and you got to believe the guy. You got to believe the guy. Ref Finance also announced their bridge aggregator featuring Stargate Finance as their first supported bridge. I mean, you can now bridge USDC from supported EVM chains to Near. And then one of the main things here, well, actually two main things. So Meteor Wallet, Harvest Moon, they're now included in OneClickFi's airdrop tracker. So they're the largest database of over 300 different Web3 airdrops. So I'm very much looking forward to the Meteor Wallet airdrop that comes out in 2025 to see how that one goes down. If it doesn't work, bro, it's so over, dude. Like, if the Meteor token airdrop isn't done, it's super, super over. No, I'm kidding. We'll obviously keep going on, but I'm hoping that's going to do pretty well. I know there's a lot of farmers who are on that one. And then definitely get excited for Bangkok in November. We're going to keep saying it every single week. Everyone should be there. I'm pretty sure Monza's going to be there. I'm pretty sure Luana's going to be over there. It's going to be a whole lot of fun, a lot of creators, a lot of memes, a lot of video content that's going to be coming out of there. Hopefully some live streams and stuff. I know a lot of the meme tokens will be there with a bit of representation. So definitely look forward to that. That's going to be November 9th through 11th in Bangkok. And so I hope to see everyone in there, and especially the people who haven't gone to as many of the IRL conferences. It would be great to have everyone up there. Monza, are you going to be up there, bro?
I think so, man. I should be. We'll see. We'll see where the money's at.
Let's go. I mean, you're my sponsor, so if you don't make it out there, I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. Luana, are you gonna be out there?
Yes, I mean, it's in the plans. I am definitely going to be there. So, Monsa, you have to come because you're also gonna sponsor half of my trip. So please.
Yeah, I'm not sure how we're gonna roll without our main sponsor actually going. Like, how is that gonna work, bro?
Yeah,
Like, how you gotta pay for Franco and Kerr? Like, dude, we gotta make this happen, dude. We gotta make this happen. We gotta push
please.
open force protocol to hit new highs. That way, Monza makes even more bags, dude. This is the way. This is the way. Yeah. So, anyways, I think that's pretty much the majority of the various stories that are going on in crypto. There's a few more I'm sure that I've missed. I know that DeltaBot has a couple of different trading prize pool situations that go on each week, and so if you're into the grid trading, DeltaBot's definitely got some things. DapDap, they've always got something cooking. I think there's like $1,000 prize pool that's happening right now. But I would say that's probably the majority of things happening. You know, I mentioned the meme token launch pads like Meme.Cooking, Thunder Labs, and Mite. They're all going right now. I think Mite is just trudging forward. I've heard a few different people expressing that maybe it happened too fast. Maybe it's not the right time. But ultimately, we'll have to just see how they pan out. But there's a lot of things happening on the Near Protocol, guys. A whole lot of things happening. Make sure you keep up to date and definitely give Monza Luana a follow. They come out here each and every week and do this space with me. Definitely give Near Week a follow just because they're pretty much the source of all things alpha that you would ever need on your protocol. Like they've got threads, spaces now, of course. We've got video content coming out, potentially podcasts in the future. I'm hearing some rumblings of various new creators even joining the ecosystem. So there's a bunch of things coming. They've got a lot of content coming out, and definitely give a follow to Kurt and Franco and the two companies that they're building, Atlas and OmniLane Labs, because they're cooking over there, and they're cooking with the newest stuff. There's a whole lot of things happening. Anyways, I'll redirect it back unless anyone has any thoughts on the stories that I kind of just brought into the conversation. A whole lot of things happening, like I said. But kind of curious on this one, is just because I feel like it's important. We did a lot of casting vision here in this space and really nerding out over the future of chain signatures and the possibilities that it opens up. But I am curious if you guys had any things going on your roadmap that you're excited to bring up, anything that's coming up in this department. I know Atlas Labs, you guys have published the roadmap on your website, which is a sweet website, by the way. OmniLane Labs, I'm pretty sure you guys have the roadmap still coming in the future, but would love to kind of throw it over to you. I'll start with Kurt. If you guys have anything on the roadmap you wanted to bring up that you're excited about that we should know.
Yeah, sure. So I mean, one of the things that's super exciting for us is integrating with the various Bitcoin staking protocols. So Babylon being one of them. Part of our testnet, of course, is making sure everything works on our side of things. But we're excited to integrate with Babylon and provide these double yield opportunities or yield stacking opportunities, right? So within our protocol, the underlying Bitcoin generates yield from AVS validations through Babylon, but you also unlock this liquid token that can be used to generate yield elsewhere. So that's a real big thing on our roadmap. We also have a test net. We haven't really announced any of the details around this, but we're going to have an incentivized test net that comes out to try to hammer out any final issues before moving to mainnet. So that's really the next step in the next month to a month and a half from now, and that's really what we're looking forward to here. But other than that, everything else is kind of moving along.
Right on. Appreciate the insights there. Same question over to Franco, if there's any thoughts you want to provide, or if it's still under wraps.
Sure. So first of all, I just wanted to say I read about Ref Finance integrating on Target, and I got my heart broken a little bit. I wish I wish Ref is open to integrate for more chains in the near future, and hopefully we can have kind of conversation there to also integrate OpenLink within their new bridge aggregator. Just kidding, but not really. Yeah, in regards to our roadmap, we had a bit of a leak last week, accidentally or not. We leaked our testnet kind of environment. That was with our kind of previous protocol design. We're now kind of working on this new UX, which kind of matches exactly what you will find in Uniswap with the approve and transfer only. So we have a pretty sweet team, and we're able to hit testnet, let's say, in 1 month and a half. And then from there, we'll be working on testnet for at least a couple of months. As we're technology providers, we base almost exclusively on trust, and we're very respectful because all the teams will be kind of sharing with their users our technology in a way. So we're very, very careful with the technology because of that. So kind of our go-to-market will be, let's say, restricted to audits and kind of the timeline required to kind of safely launch an application, as we always see. But yeah, I can say in about 1.5 months we'll be on testnet with a couple of chains, kind of allowing for this fast and cheap kind of swaps across different blockchains, like we promised.
Perfect. Awesome, brother. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, the leak, the old leak, bro, happens to every single one of us, I feel like. So awesome to hear, whether or not that was on purpose or not. Love to hear it. I guess we have like a couple minutes left here, so I have a few questions left. And Monza, definitely feel free to throw up a hand if you have any thoughts you want to provide or anything like that. And we'll have to get Ref Finance to hop into this conversation one day and comments on your point there, Franco. But yeah, I'm kind of curious if you guys think Near Protocol has a lot of conversations around the idea of AI I am curious to hear if you guys have any aspects of AI that you think will be playing into the Chase Signatures world, or in another aspect of your company, and maybe just your general thoughts on the AI conversation within blockchain. I can throw that over to Kurt first.
Yeah, it's a good question. It's not something we've really ideated on too far, but just in terms of sort of general thoughts, I mean, I think with AI you can do a lot of things with, smart routing. So this is probably a really good question for Franco. But I do see ultimately in DeFi AI playing a big role. You're able to use AI to balance portfolios, to trigger various strategies, to do things across broader DeFi. And, our goal is to have the Atlas BTC liquid staking token be a building block in cross-chain Bitcoin DeFi. So, we think that AI, it'll ultimately be important for our product. Will it be implemented into our product? Possibly, but not something that we've fully baked yet.
Awesome. Appreciate the take there. Franco, any thoughts that you want to provide on that? Any perspective you can offer?
So and tapping into my background again, I do have a quite extensive background on blockchain and also extensive background on AI. I founded a company, a B2C product with almost 3.5 million users, powered by AI. But I've never really tapped into the two together. I don't really have a strong opinion on kind of blockchain based AI, although I'm starting to see more and more blockchain based models where the data is consumed and the models are trained, let's say publicly, and on a chain kind of model. But so far, I haven't taken kind of many conclusions yet as to where this is really going and what's like the ultimate vision and the ultimate kind of power. But for the next week where I'm invited and when we talk with Rep on this space, I promise I'll bring my phone up. Just kidding.
Love it. Appreciate it, man. Final question, or maybe I have two final questions, depending if we have time. Curious on the security side of things. I have two questions here, but for the security side of things, for people who aren't, who had just maybe learned about you, like, what is the main thing you guys have as far as ensuring security for the tokens and for everything that's going on your platform?
Sure, I'll take that one first. Yeah, in terms of security, I think one of the it's a main focus for us, right? As a staking protocol, and accepting assets into a smart contract. But the main risk with Atlas is smart contract risk. So there's various ways of evaluating risk, right? There's centralization risk, there's financial risk, there's smart contract risk. With our platform, it's really focused on the smart contract aspect, but the trade-off to that is that allows us to have a greater ability to decentralize things and remove centralized intermediaries. So there's always a trade-off somewhere. And for us, the way we're going to mitigate that is obviously to go through multiple rounds of audits. A big portion of our initial fundraising is actually going to be put and initial efforts is going to be put towards testing, audits, things like that. And Near's been very supportive in terms of helping us align with auditors and get sort of a sense of what we can expect there. So that's a huge issue and something that is on our mind. And secondly, one of the ways we're mitigating a lot of this risk is by accepting native Bitcoin directly into the smart contract. So users don't have to use bridges, they don't have to use wrappers, they don't have to use other things that have traditionally maybe been a stumbling block to getting into Bitcoin DeFi. And so, we think that while that's actually good on a security level, it's also very good from a practicality and a usability level. So we're really excited about that aspect of our platform, and it's something that we're looking forward to delving into further in some tweets and some threads that we're going to put out here pretty soon.
Perfect. Same question over to Franco.
Cool. Yeah. So overall, we focused on making a very simple infrastructure, kind of a very chain agnostic, very the KISS principle, keep it simple. So overall, we have a pretty simple infrastructure. Also, kind of the core of our algorithm doesn't really happen on chain. The inline state consensus happens off chain, and then it's verified on smart contracts. Obviously, we will go under many security audits on smart contracts, although that's not really guaranteed that there's no an issue. But if you keep the infrastructure as simple as possible, the surface for errors reduces dramatically. Then we also have a built-in design. Let's say it's called a proof of liveness. One of the issues, let's say, quote unquote, when working with chain signatures is that if the MPC network dies or it's under maintenance for a long period of time, we do need a way to provide the users the ability to withdraw their funds still. So in our protocol, we're building sort of a built-in feature for proof of liveness that if anything happens to the chain signatures model, the MPC model, for a while, users will be still able to withdraw their funds, let's say, from anything that has been blocked on any contract, on any chain. And we're also designing, although still not yet complete, something to prevent potential MPC manipulations as well. So the MPC network cannot not only, let's say, die or go under maintenance for a while, but also be subject to attacks of some kind. So we're also working on a built-in kind of by design a feature kind of to prevent false messages to be produced. So overall, that's kind of all the security measures that we're taking, just to keep it simple, and also to kind of by design have kind of this these countermeasures to control or to mitigate risks with the core of our protocol, which is chain signature.
Perfect. Appreciate it, man. I was just going to say, if you guys are hiring for any positions, definitely tweet that out and let people know, because people are always DMing me asking if there's opportunities in the ecosystem. So if you guys are hiring for anything, definitely tweet it out. Let the people know. I'll retweet it. And yeah, thank you so much, guys, for spending an hour with us and just chatting about chain signatures and all the things going on your protocol. The one had to drop, Kendall had to drop here early for other obligations, but it's great to have them in here. Monza, as always, great to have you, man. Kurt, Franco, thank you so much for the time. Guys, please give everyone up here a follow who's on the speaker stage, and definitely follow Near Week. They've got things cooking every single day here on Near Protocol. Look out for the newsletter coming out real soon. We'll see you all later, guys. See you next Wednesday, 10 a.m. PST. Take care.